Okay, so quick video just to review episode 1 of DISVENTURE CAMP ALL-STARS. I'm not sure if I'll keep making a video every time a new episode comes out, but I'd like to try. After all, I'd like to do the same for Phineas and Ferb's revival later this year, so we can give these reviews a try. As for the episode, this was a weird first episode. It was pretty much a recap showing us what everyone has been up to these years, and it was a nice change of pace, but it was just 30 minutes of talking and talking and talking with no action, so not the most exciting thing ever, and that's my only complaint. It's a great setup for the rest of the season, but not the most exciting setup they could have come up with. So maybe I think this should have been an extra bonus episode between seasons so that season 3 would start strong with the first challenge and all, but at the same time still picking up where this one left off. But still, with this episode, they finally gave us a glimpse of the outside world, which is something I so wanted to see. We saw Fiore's school, Ashley's farm, and even Trevor and Derek's jail, not to mention Will and Rosa Maria even made cameos, and those were much appreciated. Now, in today's video, I'll quickly go over each character, over what we learned about them in this episode, and whether I think they deserve to make a comeback or not, because some of them really don't. But before we dive into that, I'll just say that I'm not a fan of how Gen 1 campers already know Gen 2 campers and vice versa. For instance, Jake is a fan of Lake's books, then Gabby is a fan of Rhea, Tess and Ellie were in the same university, and Gret and Yo are a couple, somehow. Honestly, I would have preferred to see these people get to know each other for the first time on screen rather than off screen. Maybe just one of these, like Tess and Ellie, I guess I could buy it, but this many people knowing each other or each other's works seems like a little bit of a stretch. I'd like to put this nicely because I really enjoy the show and appreciate everyone's work on it, but this feels like a cheap way to create bonds early on just to save time so that they won't have to do it later on. Especially these two, like, what were the odds of Gret and Yo getting together when they're not even competing, like, what? But never mind, I trust that they'll handle this season just as well as season 1, or maybe even better. As for the campers, let's start with Gen 1. So, apparently Jake and Tom haven't spoken in years, and I mean, I already knew they would wait to develop their relationship in season 3, so it was pretty obvious they wouldn't really see each other too often during this 2-year gap, but at the same time, haven't they really ever spoken in so long? Why would Tom ghost Jake for that long? So that was a little weird, but at the same time, I'm not too invested in that storyline because we already know that they're gonna end up together and make up. Like, it's just a matter of how it will happen. It's not like, will they, won't they? They will, trust me. Instead, I genuinely hope that they'll get to do something else other than getting together. Even last season, everything they did only revolved around their relationship, except maybe for Jake's friendship with Miriam, but everything else was just about this couple, and they didn't really get to do much on their own. So hopefully they're gonna fix that here. As for Mrs. Nicegrams, I ask you, did she really need to come back? She got the million, got a happy ending, and her story came to a close. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan. In fact, when season 1 ended, I was kinda worried that we would never see her again. Instead, now I'm scared that they're gonna ruin her character. She got such a great happy ending, why bring her back? Honestly, they could have brought back someone else in her place. Someone like Nick, for instance. Next is the greatest character of all, Gret, that is, and I'm wondering, is she a good person now? It seems like she worked on herself, got in shape and all, she repented, has seen the light and made a switch, but she's so pretending. She's selling online courses on personal acceptance and vitamin supplements, and it's all definitely a scam, so I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I was kinda hoping she would have a redemption, or maybe not an actual redemption, but at least I thought she would show off some of her redeeming qualities this time around. Instead, this is what we get.
I exaggerated a little on social media. I had to. How else would I sell those online courses on personal acceptance and my new vitamin supplements?
I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with her. Even in the theme song, she kinda looked disappointed, a little sad. There's probably something bigger going on that they're not telling us yet. Then we have Alec, who apparently lost it all and got divorced. And in this episode, Ellie brought up an interesting point, and we even talked about this in my last video, but like, imagine seeing your dad saying that he wishes you were more like some random child he barely even knows. And imagine him saying that on national or maybe even international television. That's definitely gonna haunt his son for years. I just hope they're gonna show Alec in a more positive light this season, and especially fix that for him, or at the very least explain what he meant by that. Maybe he meant to say something nice, but he didn't put it in the best of ways. I don't know, it's just, the more I think about this, the less I like his character. However, I do love how his new character design kinda reflects his new lifestyle. Moving on to Ellie, it seems like she's been bad-mouthing everyone on the cast after season 1 ended, and what? Why? I didn't expect that from her. She was mean to Jake last season, but in a way, I guess I understand it, even though she kinda crossed the line, telling him to eat shit and die. But you know, it felt appropriate at the time, whatever. But why would you attack the others? Even Ashley, who's always been extremely nice and even super polite during her elimination. Why would you do that? You needed the money from the interviews, fine, but you could have said nice things about someone, not about everyone, but at least, you know, what did Ashley ever do to you? So yeah, I wonder why people still prefer her to Gabby, like, come on now. Then it seems like Fiore has been spending her days shooting tranquilizers at nuns and also misspelling the word tranquilizers an awful lot, but I'm really glad we got to see her being mischievous outside of the game too, because I did wonder what she was like in her everyday life. But at the same time, I still hope we learn more about her family life. For instance, it seems like she's in a Catholic school of some sort, and why is it? Is it because the parents think she's evil personified and want the nuns to exorcise her or something? I could see that happen, but at the same time, we don't know enough about her parents to really have proof of that, but that would be so cool. I would love it if that was canon. Also, I loved her comeback at Yule. She's still in tip-top shape, and I love that. Then we have our queen, Gabby, who I'm not talking too much about today because I know that most of you guys don't really like her and don't like to hear me praising her. So I'll just say that I really hope her schizophrenia is gonna have a more prominent role this season because last time it was just there. They didn't do much with it. And I'll just say that this time, come on, she behaved. She barely even talked. She can't be annoying if she doesn't talk, right? Right? Wrong? And finally, Ashley. And she doesn't really feel like an all-star, don't get me wrong. I love Ashley, even last season I told you she probably had a few more episodes in her, and this time around she can also do some great things, but I just didn't expect her to be part of the cast. I expected Nick to be there instead, so I'm just genuinely surprised. I'd really like to see her go far and all, but I kinda fear she's gonna be an early boot. Because Will and Lil are not here, so she doesn't really have that many strong connections with the other players. And of course, that's not very promising. Let's hope that they don't misuse her and that she stays in the game for a while. Otherwise, if they wanted to bring back someone just to eliminate them right away, then, I don't know, they could have picked Dan. I know, I'm always criticizing him even when he's not around, poor guy, but like, he would have worked as an early boot, right? And now, let's tackle Gen 2, and this is the first time we talk about them, cool. So, Hunter and Allie, not Ellie, I just know that I'm gonna confuse the two names so often without even realizing it. For some reason, they just had to be so similar, so have mercy on me. But honestly, I don't really see these two as a good couple, and it seems like the show already wants to portray this as a terrible relationship. So I genuinely hope these two are not gonna bicker the entire time as we see in the theme song, because that would be so extremely annoying. If they want them to break up, go ahead, but please don't drag this storyline. Also, it would be cool if they got involved in something else other than this relationship, just like for Jake and Tom. Then we have Yo, who I think is probably gonna be the main antagonist of the season. And like, he kinda has to, honestly. In season 2, he got eliminated way too soon, and after he left, the game just became too boring for me. He was kinda wasted there, so this is their chance to make things right and turn him into a huge threat or something. And of course, the same goes for Gretz, and together they could be this villainous power couple. That would be lovely. Next are Rhea and Connor, and yeah, Connor is back. I did expect him to be back, honestly, because he's basically the only one who's actually close to Rhea, so he's kinda necessary if they want to give her a redemption arc, which I feel like they will, because if they're gonna redeem someone, it's gonna be Rhea, it's definitely gonna be her. Also, it appears that these two will be hiding their relationship from cameras the entire time, because Rhea wants to protect her bad girl reputation, so this is probably gonna be the turning point that's gonna lead to her redemption arc. Now, before we go on, I wanna ask you, do you guys root for Connor? Like, are there some hardcore Connor fans out there who think he deserves to win? Because he's okay, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone showering him with love and affection just like they do with everyone else. So please write hashtag Team Connor in the comments if you want him specifically to win. I just want to know how big his fanbase is. As for Tess, I'm really not sure what she's gonna be doing this season. Probably helping Ellie become a better person, given how she's currently horrible. And I guess I never quite got what they wanna do with Hunter, Ellie, and Tess. If it's some sort of love triangle or maybe a throuple situation. Sometimes it seems like they're going in one direction, sometimes it feels like they're going the complete opposite way. And honestly, the love triangle is so overused that the throuple thing would be much more original. And if that's what they're going for, then I guess they could portray Hunter and Ellie as a dysfunctional couple on their own, and later reveal that what they really need is not breaking up, but actually adding Tess to the mix. As in, their relationship only works and is balanced if all three of them are involved. But I don't know, maybe this is just speculation. And then everyone's favorite couple, Aiden and James, and why the hell are they back? I admit I was never a fan, especially of James. He was so inconsistent last season, but I mean, he won, he has the money, has a boyfriend, has a happy ending. Why would you bring him back? So I really hope he's gonna be an early boot, because otherwise they're gonna ruin the happy ending that they gave him. At the very least though, I'm glad that they put James and Aiden on different teams this time, just like they did for Jake and Tom. This way they're gonna have a chance to interact with others and not their love interests only. At the same time though, I'm happy to see Gabby and Ellie on the same team for the first time. That's how you create new interesting dynamics, mixing up the teams, it's needed. And last but not least, Lake. Because she also got a happy ending last season, I didn't really think she would be back. I just figured they would bring back Rosa Maria instead, but thank goodness they didn't. Honestly, Rosa Maria basically had no growth or character journey. She was perfect since day one. She was nice, likable, and altruistic. And in the end, she's nicer, more likable, and you guessed it, more altruistic. That was pretty boring to see, so I'm glad they retired her and chose to bring back Lake instead. Not only is she a more versatile character, but I also think she has a pretty decent chance of winning. I'm usually terrible at predicting these things, but if I had to give you my predictions for the winner of the season, I'd say that it's definitely not gonna be Miriam or James, since they already won. It would be pretty lame if they won again, and by extension, it's not gonna be Aiden or Jake because of how close they are to the winners, and the same goes for Tom as well. I don't really see him winning when Miriam already won last time. Then there's Connor, and I mean, he's already rich, so there would be no point in seeing him win. Then Hunter, Ellie, and Tess, I don't really see any of them winning either. Maybe I can see Tess going pretty far, being a finalist even, but I don't really think she's ever gonna win. Then Ashley, again, she has no strong connections, which makes me think she won't go very far, but I do admit she feels like a winner. Her personality, her character, she has the traits that I believe the writers would want in a winner. She's brave, fairly smart, with a bit, but just a tiny bit of an attitude, and she doesn't really let others push her around. But of course, there's still room for her to grow, unlike Rosa Maria, so if they make her connect with the others and focus on her rivalry with Fiore, there's a chance she could win. As for the villains, Fiore, Alec, Gret, Yo, and Rhea, unless they redeem them or at least they show them in a more positive light, then I doubt any of them are gonna win. If you want a villain to win, then they must have at least some redeeming qualities. And even though I guess Rhea is probably gonna get a redemption, I don't really see her getting both the redemption and the money. So this only leaves us with Ellie, who for the time being is horrible, so I don't really see her winning, Gabby, and I'd love to see her win, and it would even feel appropriate considering how much screen time she got in season 1, but I kinda feel like so many viewers would be super disappointed, so maybe not, maybe not. And finally, Lake, who currently has the best social game, and for that, I do believe she's winner material. She's already friends with Aiden and James, she's probably gonna be friends with Jake, and she doesn't really have enemies. Especially given her team, I can really see her win. However, these are just my opinions, so I'd like to hear your thoughts now. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the episode, or if you hated it, what you think about the cast and who you root for. And remember, hashtag Team Connor if you want him to win. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!